Today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, we are going to be breaking down what I believe to be the best investments in March of 2022. Now, of course, there's a lot going on right now. We're in football offseason, we're in basketball, nearly playoff time, so that's a big opportunity. But we're going to be breaking down what I believe to be essentially the 5 to 7 best investments of the month. Now, before we get into that, I did want to say a little bit about our membership program because we've been spot on a lot of picks in recent months. Firstly, before the season started, we were recommending to buy DeMar DeRozan's cards, of course, given he was an upcoming free agent with a good chance to join a new team, and that's exactly what happened. He ended up joining the Bulls, and our members were buying up his tops for just $12 ungraded. And we were buying up his Topps Chrome Refractors for under $250. The most recent Topps Chrome Refractor, I believe, sold for nearly $1,000. So that's a big $750 profit to a lot of my members who bought these. But not only that, I recommended a lot of people to be grading these because at that time, I was recommending a lot of cards that were in great condition that were sitting for DeMar DeRozan. So a lot of my members ended up buying, these base tops for just $12 and sending them all to PSA. And now the PSA 10s are nearly $700. The Topps Chromes are up to around $2,000 in a PSA 10. So a lot of our members have made a lot of money in our recent months with our picks. So if you would like to join in on the profit, click the link down below to sportscardsinvest.com and you can join in on our program. Now, without further ado, we are going to hop right into this video. So some of the cards I believe have great potential this month are cards of players who have taken big strides in their games. However, certain cards haven't yet really come up to where they should be. And what I mean by that is, for example, Ja Morant, is a player who's had an incredible month of February, incredible month of January, and the Grizzlies are just soaring, and Ja Morant's card market is really on fire. However, there's certain cards that lag behind. So Ja Morant's base Prisms nearly doubled in price. However, for example, his Prism Purple from 2019 has only gone up around 30%. So there's a lot of indiscrepancies in the market, that I believe leaves for great opportunity for investors. So that's definitely an option where if overall Ja Morant's card market doubled, yet there is a card of his that has only gone up 40%, chances are over the next few weeks as the market, continues to figure itself out for Ja Morant's cards, chances are all of his cards are going to see a relatively similar percentage increase. And so same goes for other, very hot players such as Jason Tatum. I believe there's a lot of opportunity in his cards right now. Jason Tatum's a player whose base Prism has nearly doubled. However, you can get into a Prism Silver autograph for roughly only 20% more than they were a few months ago. So that is a great opportunity. Because his overall stock has doubled, yet one card of his has only gone up 20%. And so I believe this, for example, is a very good buy. And then, of course, it's low population, which means there's not as many sales. So it's going to take some time for the market to pick up on them. But when they do, you're going to see a great increase in your, investment essentially. So I definitely believe it's a good time to be buying into these hot players, but cards that haven't gone up as much. So I definitely think Tatum, even his Silver Prism, is a very good buy at around $1,000 right now. Especially when you're comparing it to other young stars, because a lot of the times when players like Jason Tatum and Ja Morant start to come out and have big seasons, it takes a while for investors to really compare to guys like Luka Doncic, compare and, figure out where they should be priced. Because at the end of the day, that is all it takes. It's just investors trying to figure out where players' prices should be. And that essentially forms the market price for the card. It's essentially all investors and collectors coming together and saying this card should be worth this much. And so I believe there's going to be a lot of rediscussion around where Ja Morant and Jason Tatum should be compared to Luka Doncic and Trae Young and Zion Williamson. I think a lot of that's going to happen over the next few months as Tatum and Morant really break out to become, stars like Luka and Trae, in my opinion. I think Ja Morant is, of course not quite on Luka's level in my eyes, but I believe that a lot of, these big price discrepancies are going to kind of closed a little bit because a lot of big investors have been really only putting money in Luka Doncic and Zion Williamson and Trae Young, and I believe a lot of that's going to be redistributed to Jason Tatum and Ja Morant and other young stars over the next few months. So I definitely believe there's a lot of opportunity in that. And then I wanted to shift it over to football for a little bit. Because I believe there is some great buying opportunities right now. I think it's a great time to start to look at football cards. We're pretty well removed from the end of the season, and I think prices will start to find their floors sooner than later. I think now's a great time to start accumulating some solid cards of top quarterbacks. The market for quarterbacks heading into the start of this last NFL season was extremely hot, and those who got into the market at its low did very well. So I think the following quarterbacks should all be guys that, should have some solid hype, and that includes, Justin Herbert, of course, Joe Burrow. I believe he's going to have a lot of hype coming into the season. Josh Allen is another guy who I believe is a great guy to be stacking up on right now. Josh Allen's cards, he had an incredible season this year. They nearly took down the Chiefs. That was one of the best games of the season. So I think, heading into next year, a lot of investors are going to be heading into Josh Allen's card market. And then, of course, Mahomes is always a very safe bet. A lot of the times I recommend even my members to buy up these football cards during the peak of the offseason. Not only football, but say when basketball's in the offseason. And before the season, you always see a good 20 to 30% jump. So I think it's a great time to be buying into these cards. And I think Aaron Rodgers is also a very good buy. If he does end up moving teams, I think that's going to be great for his card market. Who knows? I think at this point it's I don't think he'll personally come back to the Packers. And so if he does end up on another team, you're definitely going to see a great increase in his prices. As you see when, all players get traded, the new fan base starts to buy up their collectibles and prices do rise. So I think it's a good time to be buying into some of these cards. And then also guys like Donovan Mitchell, back to basketball. I think a lot of Donovan Mitchell, he's had an incredible past few weeks, and I think his card market has not reacted, and it might take a little bit longer, but I think his card market will react, and there's some cards that are just sitting so low. This card has a fraction of the population of his base Prism, and it's just sitting so low. I think there's so much opportunity in young players' markets. Young players oftentimes have big streaky times where, they'll have a big 40-point game and prices will start to go up like crazy. So I think buying into these guys at their lows is always a good opportunity, because when Donovan Mitchell has that next 40-point game and everyone starts comparing him to Dwayne Wade again, like what tends to happen in the overall NBA industry, I think there's just a lot of opportunity. Of course, as soon as Ja Morant went off, everyone starts comparing him, giving him MVP hype, just because he's so young and we haven't seen it yet. With guys like Giannis, they can put up 30 points and 10 rebounds a game and we won't bat an eye. However, when young players do that, we bat so much of an eye, and we really, start to pay attention to their card markets and their future and just speculate, and that's what causes prices to really rise. So I believe it's a great time to be buying into these young guys, and when they have these big games, prices are so inflated, and that's a great time to sell. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Once again, if you would like to join in on the membership program, click the link down below. But other than that, I'll close out the video. I'm out. Peace.